Darts Premier League Night 7 is here. My name's Corbin from the Parlay Club, and I've got the best bets, previews, and plays that the books don't want you knowing about. Let's get right into it. Obviously, drop a comment with who you think's going to win. Give me some predictions. Like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff. Quickly preview last week. So we went 2-0 on client plays, which is now an incredible 14-2 run, which is unheard of, quite honestly. Looking back on the video of last week, I pretty much called it nailed on. I think every matchup. I had Clayton moneyline, him getting to the final and winning it, which he did. So let's see if we can keep that momentum going. Right into Van Veen versus Van Goen. Now, I'm receiving some flack for my statements on Jan Van Veen that I think he is overrated, and I stand by those, quite honestly. I don't think he's a bad player. I just think he's not. I don't have him in my top 2, 3, 4 players at the minute, which some may find quite baffling. He's just kind of, I mention it every week, he's just kind of getting over the line, which I guess is a testament to him being a good player. But I feel like it's all going to unravel at some point. You look at his results over the last few weeks, maybe like last month, 6 weeks. It's kind of showing that. I think he has 5 losses in his last 6 now. His averages have gone down from being in the hundreds, and they're mostly down in the mid to low 90s. It's really his checkouts that have been saving him in quite a few games. On the flip side, you have Van Goen, who started the year red hot. Like, I didn't even expect that to come from him. Obviously, had that huge weight loss. I know that Andy refers to him as Ozempic Van Goen, and you can definitely see that he's lost a lot of weight. He seems way happier in himself, but obviously had that illness probably like 3 weeks or a month ago now. And since he's come back, his performances have just been nowhere near what they were to start the year. His scoring's not there, his finishing's not there, he just doesn't look as confident. I don't know if there's something still niggling or going on in the background. Obviously, we probably won't ever know. I think the finishing will really be the difference in this game. Last 3 games Van Goen has played, uh, he's had under a 30% checkout, and that's just not going to be good enough in a quick format like this against Jan Van Veen. Full disclosure, Van Veen is a client player. I've only got, I think it's a 2% play. I wouldn't go much more than that for the reasons that I've mentioned. If Van Goen of the first 2 weeks turns up, I think he beats him. He did beat him in both head-to-heads this year, but I'm just going to keep riding against Van Goen until he starts looking back to the form of what we would expect from him. So, yeah, full disclosure, I'm taking Jan Van Veen moneyline at minus 125, which I think is quite generous, to be honest. I don't often go for match trebles nowadays, but Van Veen at plus 370 seems a bit interesting on that as well. Likewise, that's the minus 1.5 at plus 105 might be worth a sprinkle as well. But then you're so close to the money line, you might as well just take the money line at that point. Even a minus 2.5 maybe is worth a small sprinkle. If the Van Goen that turns up with 30% checkouts, particularly if Van Veen throws first, it's going to be a 6-2, 6-3 kind of job, I think, for Van Veen, unless Van Goen turns it up. Moving on to Bunting versus Littler. Quite honestly, I'm just expecting a Littler domination. He's won 4 of the last 5. His scoring power is just going to be far too much for Bunting. Bunting obviously won that week. I think it was 2-3 weeks ago now. His averages have all regressed back into the mid-low 90s. He's had his win. He can kind of just like relax and settle now. That's probably all he really hopes to achieve this year, because he didn't want to come dead last like he did last year. He didn't want to basically lose every week, and he's back to that already, but he's won his week, so he can kind of just relax and chill. Littler is back in the 100 averages, which is great for him, although his checkouts have still not been great recently. He probably needs to get that back up near the 35, 40, if not higher mark to really have a chance for the rest of the year and in some of these bigger tournaments. His confidence just looks back, though. That's what I like about Littler. He looks up for it. He needs the wins to start climbing the table. He's another one, like I always mention with Josh Allen about being greedy. Littler loves having the limelight. on him. He loves being number one. So those few weeks or this year where people have started to doubt him and Clayton's firing and Humphreys here and there, it's kind of, I think it's going to only bring out the best in him. Full disclosure again, I have got Littler minus, I don't know if I paid minus 370, but I definitely have him money line in a client play. Again, you can look at the match trebles, I think, in this game. Plus 135. I think he gets most 180s and wins. I don't know about the highest checkout. Bunting seems to have that. I don't know if you can do high. Oh, what do we have? Highest checkout. I kind of like this over 114.5. I haven't dug too deep into it, but I kind of like that on the highest checkout. I kind of also feel like Bunting might win one or two legs and have 100 plus checkout. So yeah, if you can get winner most 180s, I feel like that's great. I think Littler minus 1.5. I think minus 215 is a hugely generous piece. I haven't used it yet. I may well use that personally, but I think Littler's just going to steamroll him. As I mentioned, it is part of a client play. And talking about client plays, wow, it has been a crazy, crazy good month, year, week, all of the above. As you can see on the post here, 96 units on the year, 65 units on the month. And you don't need a massive bankroll to succeed with this. Everyone always thinks you need hundreds or thousands to really make this successful. But if you put $10 on every point that I recommend, you're up 960. $100 betters are up 9.6 grand. I mean, find me someone else with those kind of returns already in 2 and a bit months. Nearly doubled everyone's bankroll. So thank you to all the clients that obviously support me, and I hugely welcome everyone to hop on board. Promo code, it's kind of cut off a bit at the bottom, but promo code WIN gets you $20 off a monthly subscription, which is now less than $2 a day. Crazy good value, quite honestly. I would highly recommend jumping on. Multiple 5% plays, golf, soccer, MotoGP, UFC London. There's so many sports, and covering all of them, that gives you such an advantage where you can pick out the real gems of each sport and put them together. So yeah, promo code WIN, highly recommend jumping on. Let's get back in to the preview. Josh Rock versus Price. This is one of those games that has potential to be maybe game of the night, but also worst game of the night. It all depends on what Josh Rock shows up. He's so up and down. I mean, he played the Euro Tour at the weekend. He got 2 wins, but really poor showings in both, quite honestly. Low 90s averages, 20% checkouts. It was only because he was playing Hollywood Dobie and some unknown player that I've never heard of that he kind of coasted. Well, not coasted. He only came through, I think, 6-4 in both games. But you can get away with those kind of averages and checkouts against these lesser players. When you play someone against Price, I mean, Price got to the European Tour final at the weekend, but he seemed to run out of steam. I wonder if these players, particularly Price, are gonna we they're gonna burn out at some point. The amount that the tour and everyone's making them play, it's basically like at least one, if not two tournaments every week. The travel, the hotel, the playing, it takes its toll. We saw it towards the end of last year. Humphreys and Littler particularly being the most vocal, and Price mentioned it in the final that he just kind of ran out of steam. I think he'll be okay. Like again, first to six, it's not kind of that taxing, but the longer the season goes, I wonder if it's not physical fatigue. I wonder if it's going to be more of a mental fatigue. So it's definitely one to keep an eye out for. Price has the experience and the edge on the checkouts, but if Rock brings his A game, he can definitely outscore Price. But again, I think those checkouts are going to pull it back in Price's favor. Head to heads between the two have been quite tight. Rock has had some success against him, but again, I think this is Price's to lose, quite honestly. Minus 160 is not awful. Again, you could probably put that with like a Littler money line, or we'll get to Clayton in a minute, or a Van Veen money line. There's kind of options out there. I think Price is the play. I think you have to just keep betting against Rock until you see something from him. Like Bunting last week, again, it would not surprise me if one week he kind of catches fire and reels off 100 plus averages and wins a night. But then you just got to keep playing it and the regression will come back. At the minute, Rock doesn't look like he's going to perform that anywhere, quite honestly. Um, into the final game. I called it last week. Clayton just the lines just disrespect him. I called it perfectly. Had him money line plus spreads to win the night. All of those obviously came through, and I think he's undervalued again here. It's one of those I don't like fading Humphreys. Humphreys is a tough matchup, but the price kind of leads you and tells you you have to play Clayton. I certainly wouldn't be playing Humphreys at minus 200. Um, I mentioned it again. Clayton plus 2.5 at minus 230. I think is a great piece. Even if Clayton is going to lose, he's been keeping it close. His averages are high. It's the checkouts that again I mentioned the checkouts because in a first to six format, the checkouts come thick and fast at you. You win a couple of those and suddenly you have a break and you're ahead. You've got to really take your chances. Clayton's been phenomenal at checkouts. Humphreys has been quite honestly shocking at checkouts this year. Humphreys' scoring has still been there. He's scoring really well. But like Littler as well, it's just the doubles. Like some games he's having 10, 15, 20% doubles, and that's just not going to cut it in this kind of quick format, especially against someone like Clayton. Clayton actually has won the last three head-to-heads against Humphreys, including last week where he beat him 6-1 in the final. I'm expecting Humphreys, like Littler, to catch fire at some point, but until then, I think that plus 2.5, minus 230, the money line at uh, plus 155, the overs 7, 8.5. I think it's all a great play. As I mentioned, you could probably put the plus 2.5 with a Littler, with a Price, with a Van Veen. I think there's quite a lot of parlay opportunities around here for these kind of plays. And then we gotta touch on it. It's the bullseye finishes, and as I mentioned before, every week you just keep playing each game not to have a bullseye checkout. Let's zoom out here. Take out the Littler minus 1.5. Oh, it's come down a little. I think it used to be in the plus 320s, but again, that's not what you're looking for. I mean, you could at this point you could put a little spread, a little half a unit maybe or something to really hit big. But this is what you want. You want the two pick round robin. I explain it every week. It's basically hit all four, you basically double your money. Go 3-1, you make a slight profit. 2-2, I think you basically break even or a small loss. And then if you lose them all, obviously you lose your whole stake. We've been client playing the round robin for a 1.5% total. It's gone four wins, one kind of break even, one loss. So hugely profitable. And you just got to commit to it. You just got to keep playing it, quite honestly. And what are we in week 7? We got basically halfway through the tournament almost. Just going to keep playing it. If we go 8-2-2, I think it's going to be an incredibly profitable way to pick up some extra units. As I mentioned, having a massive client play year. I'm not going to go through all the spiel again, but any unit sides, any betters, I highly recommend jumping on. Massive week, month, and rest of the year ahead. Promo code WIN for $20 off a 7-day pass. Either get that, get a month pass, year pass, offering an 80% money back guarantee if you don't win. Again, don't see anyone else in this industry offering a money back opportunity. So yeah, highly recommend taking advantage of those, and like, comment, and subscribing. On to next week.